Hello, and thanks for this opportunity to share some thoughts about sustainable purchasing. It's an increasingly important topic for us at EPA, and I know the same is true for all of you, folks who bear so much responsibility for influencing the United States' collective purchasing power. It's obvious why sustainable purchasing is important to us at EPA. Our mission is to protect human health and the environment. Every day, we work to provide Americans with clean air, clean water, and healthy communities. We're also intently focused on addressing what some have called the most important issue of our time, climate change. As you may have heard, the U.S. will soon take historic action to reduce carbon emissions from the nation's biggest source, power plants. That will be an important step. But it's just one of a number of ways our country will tackle this critical challenge. Rethinking our purchasing is another. Just a few weeks ago, the President signed a new executive order to cut federal carbon emissions 40% from 2008 levels in 10 years. The event focused on greening the federal supply chain and included some of the largest suppliers in the federal supply chain. That action showed a new commitment by the federal government to address carbon and other impacts from our purchasing and supply chain. To give you a sense of scale, in the next 2 years, the federal government will be issuing requests for proposals for just information technology with a combined value of over $150 billion. That's a lot of computers and related products with long supply chains and potential for addressing carbon and other sustainability issues. For large enterprises, like Fortune 500 companies and federal agencies, more than 75% of their carbon footprint comes from the supply chain. Institutional purchasing in the U.S. by companies, universities, and governments is linked to over $10 trillion in annual spending, with carbon and other emissions equivalent to more than 500 million cars. So the work that you're doing here is part of the Sustainable Purchasing Leadership Council matters for today and for the future that our children and grandchildren will inherit. At EPA, we are proud to be a co-founder of the SPLC. We are thrilled to see it growing so fast, bringing together so many leading companies, business associations, universities, state and local governments, and non-governmental organizations around the country, and in leadership in sustainable purchasing. EPA works closely with GSA, DOE, USDA, and other federal agencies in supporting the SPLC. We are pleased to see SPLC embrace EPA programs such as Energy Star, WaterSense, Safer Choice, and Smart Way in its guidance. We are committed to continue working with SPLC to develop a credible platinum, gold, silver rating system for leadership in sustainable institutional purchasing. EPA has also taken steps, as suggested in SPLC guidance, to reduce our own environmental footprint. For example, we partnered with GSA on a sustainability spend analysis for all federal agencies. So now we know where the greatest opportunities lie to cut carbon and other emissions from the federal supply chain through sustainable purchasing. EPA routinely receives the highest rating among federal agencies for greening our facilities and purchasing, and we're very proud of that. We also think strategic sourcing offers opportunities to build sustainability into federal purchasing. We are partnering with GSA, OMB, and other agencies to include leading sustainability measures in federal strategic sourcing and category management initiatives, and that way we can be sure we are cutting unnecessary energy, water, and disposal costs, reducing environmental footprints, and saving taxpayer dollars. EPA has also issued draft guidelines for evaluating environmental performance standards and eco-labels. The goal is a transparent, fair, and consistent approach to selecting these standards and eco-labels in support of federal sustainable acquisition mandates. I hope many others will join in this effort in defining and pursuing leadership in sustainable institutional purchasing. Together, we will build a more sustainable and prosperous future. Thank you very much for all the work you are doing to help advance these goals.